Call the meeting to order. Ask you please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. The first item we have on the agenda is a public hearing regarding the proposed amendment to the local towing law. Notice of public hearing. Please take notice the Town Board of Town of Cornwall will hold a public hearing on the 10th day of June 2019 at 7 o'clock p.m. at Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Cornwall, New York, on a proposed local law of the year 2019 entitled "A Local Law to Amend the Town Code by Repealing and Reenacting Certain Provisions of Chapter 137 entitled Towing to expand the requirements for participants in the towing list." The purpose of this local law is to promote the public health, safety, and welfare by amending Chapter 137 of the Town Code entitled Towing for the purpose of requiring participants in the towing list to operate their businesses either in or in close proximity to the Town of Cornwall and to allow for vehicle retrieval on Sundays. A copy of the proposed local law is on file in the office of the Town Clerk and available for inspection by interested persons during the Town Clerk's business hours. Town Board will, at the above date, time, and place, hear all persons interested in the subject matter hereof. Persons may appear in person or by agent. All written communications addressed to the Board must be received by the Board at or prior to the public hearing by order of the Town Board, Town of Cornwall. Renata McGee, Town Clerk, dated May 14, 2019. Okay, I'll declare the public hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak on the proposed local law? Sir, if you just give your name to the
Sure,
clerk.
Michael Papaleo's Auto Body. I wanted to clear up a few things. I'm not sure if this affects me or not. We are in the city of Newburgh, and we've been on the town list about 10 years. And I just don't know, is it a radius? Is it 2.5 miles to the town line? So I don't know how far it's, I mean, I'm definitely more than 2.5 miles away. I never had an issue with ETA times being called by the police department. So I don't know if this is really a matter of that or just a matter of eliminating guys off the list so some guys can have more calendar days. I don't know if this is really the right approach here. I think maybe you guys should consider, treating it like if the tow company doesn't answer a call, they get thrown off the list for a month and then they get put back on. I mean, that would probably be a better thing. If they don't arrive in 15, 20 minutes, then they get canceled and then they move on. I mean, I don't know if this is the right, I mean, I think this is going to expose you guys to some legal matters here, possibly, if you implement this stuff. I mean, like I said, I take my job very seriously. This is what I do for a living. So, and next year we'll be in business 25 years. So we make a tremendous effort to make, to go to these calls and to provide excellent service for the town and also other surrounding municipalities that we do for. So, I hope you guys consider this and not implement this law. I mean, I don't know this, if you guys have, if there's been complaints or the police department's been I'd like to see if there's any documentation stating that, this tow company's not, getting onto the scene on time for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak on the proposed local law? Okay, anyone else wishing to speak on the law? Okay, motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Okay, we have approval of minutes, May 6th, special meeting, May 13th, regular meeting, May 14th, special meeting, May 22nd, special meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment, agenda items. Anyone wish to speak on any agenda items? Yes, Virginia?
I want to ask about resolution number 4 and 11. I was at the work session, and I'm just trying to understand this reallocation with the Majestic district. I looked up the property that was the one that's going to be the sole property that's affected. There's like 15 units. What benefit is this for Cornwall to enter into this agreement? That's my first question.
Okay.
And then my second question, perhaps you'll get more into this, because this wasn't on the work session last week. the Kiris Joel request for the road opening permit on Riley Road.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of things that are going on in New Windsor that seem to be lining up with what's going on in Cornwall. So if you just clarify, I appreciate it.
Okay, during the meeting, when we come up to the items, then we'll
Okay.
address it. Anyone else, public comment, any other items? Doug?
Yeah, on number 14, where the planning for the special meeting to begin the zoning review, I guess I'd like, during that discussion of the special meeting, if you could lay out so the public has a really clear understanding exactly of what your kind of timing, what that meeting is going to cover, what the expectation is once you have that meeting in terms of the opportunity for the public to give response. And finally, and I don't know if this was planned, Mr. Gaba, but in some of the meetings, it appears that the town board has a special meeting where you have documents that you're looking at that the public hasn't seen. And I don't know if that's the plan here, that council or the planning board, consultant is doing any drafting. But I'd really like to recommend that in moving forward with the special meeting for the zoning review, that before any public meeting takes place, any documents that the board is going to be looking at actually be made available, because to be honest, it's really frustrating to sit here and watch you talk about a document that for whatever reason you've decided the public can't see because it's in a draft. It kind of makes a mockery of a public meeting for you guys to be talking about a draft that we haven't seen. So I guess I'd really like and I believe I checked, it's up to your discretion to do that. You can decide not to release drafts, but you also can, as a board, decide to do that. So I guess I'm requesting that when you go through the discussion of the special meeting, that you discuss what the process is going to be, and that you make every effort to allow the public to actually participate effectively, as opposed to sitting here kind of watching you talk about words that we haven't seen, which has happened at a couple of the meetings on the comprehensive plan.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else? Okay, first item on the agenda is a resolution regarding the adoption of the local law pertaining to the towing. I'll read the resolution. Whereas heretofore the town board has considered the adoption of a local law entitled a local law to amend town code by repealing and reenacting certain provisions of chapter 137 entitled towing to expand the requirements for participants in the towing list. And whereas the following due notice, the town board held a public hearing on the proposed local law, now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, that the town board determines that the adoption of this local law is a type 2 action under SECRA. 2, the town board hereby adopts the above local law, which said local law shall be effective immediately. And 3, that said local law shall be published and posted and filed in the Office of the Secretary of State in Albany as required by applicable law. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second, Carrie?
Second.
One thing on
Go ahead.
that, just a second.
Did the local law put in, it's effective January 1st, that should be in.
That's what I
That's
think.
in
I
the
think
law.
the resolution, I think just want to clarify that the local law takes effect January 1st, 2020. So to the extent that the resolution says that it takes effect immediately, it means the law is enacted, but
Right.
the law itself will not be effective until
Correct.
2020.
Right,
So
that was
just,
our
just so
understanding.
just so we're clear.
Okay. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Pond? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Next item, Storm King Run. Have a letter from the West Point Highland Falls Rotary International. They are going to have their 8th annual Storm King Run on Sunday, August 25th, 2019. Net proceeds from the run benefit the Rotary Club Scholarship Fund, which provides funding for college to local high school students. I believe certificate of insurance.
Yes.
You
They
provided?
provided us with it, yes.
Okay. Race starts in Highland Falls, just north of Washington Gate, entrance to West Point. The route proceeds along New York 218, crossing a short distance into the town of Cornwall, and returns to the finish line on 218 near Washington Gate, out and back route. Okay, is there a motion to approve the request for the event?
So moved.
For a second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Pond? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. We have a letter regarding the Tarquette site environmental easement granted to New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Steve, you want to just touch on?
Sure.
That
The Tarquette site extends over the New Windsor-Cornwall line. Tarquette has given environmental easement to the New York State DEC. The environmental easement restricts what can be done on the property, and potential future development would be affected by the environmental easement. So what the town needs to do is to just acknowledge that it's received it and have a copy on file with the town clerk and have a copy with the building department, so that in the event that any applications are submitted for construction on the portion of the property that's in Cornwall in the future, notice can be given to the DEC so that they know that the work will be done in accordance with the easement. So you just need to, the board needs to acknowledge it and direct that it be filed with the building department and the town clerk.
Okay. There's a motion to file this on record, just indicating the environmental easement that's been granted New York State DEC.
So moved.
Second?
Did somebody second?
Did I hear a second?
Carrie, yes.
Discussion, roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Okay, and item number 4, I have a resolution. This is the sewer reallocation agreement for Majestic Sewer District. Steve will give a little bit of an overview on it, but this is a district strictly for Majestic. They started out with like 1.25 million gallons of sewage, and over the years, there's been a couple of agreements, because obviously that when that when that allocation was made, it was a joint effort when the plant was expanded with New Windsor back in the late 70s or early 80s. And it helped them get funding at the time to have it a public-private partnership on it. So Majestic, because they're operating as a plant, needed that kind of capacity for their operations over there. But when they folded up, they had all this capacity sitting there, which was purchased by the property owner. And over the years, we've had a couple of different agreements, taking that 1.25 million, allocating some to New Windsor, some to the town of Cornwall for use outside of the district and all. And with the agreement that the owner, when they sold each gallon, a certain amount of money would come back to New Windsor, a certain amount of money would come back to the town. It doesn't really benefit the town, to answer your question, because it has to stay in the district for the use of the district. So it will just go into a fund, any monies that we do receive, and at some time in the future, if there's anything that takes place over there, then, you know, we would have money in that district, but it's strictly for the district on it. Steve, you might want to just touch on the agreement.
Yeah, I think you summarized it pretty well, Dick. Back in the 70s, New Windsor expanded its sewer plant, and funds to assist in the enlargement of the plant were procured through the owner of it's now Cornwall Warehousing. It was what, Bethesda was the name of it?
Yeah, it was.
Majestic Leading?
Yeah, Majestic.
And a huge amount of sewer capacity was reserved in the New Windsor plant for use by that district, which was a one-property district. As Dick pointed out, once the existing use folded, there was just no need for it, so the sewer capacity is sitting there unused, and it has for many, many years. Now, over the course of time, because there was a Superfund site, the Majestic property, an idea was hit upon that we could reallocate the capacity to New Windsor, and New Windsor would sell it to developers. The developers would pay for that capacity, because it's not capacity in the Windsor plant. I mean, it is in the New Windsor plant, but it doesn't belong to New Windsor. It belongs to Cornwall and Majestic District. So the money would then be used to clean up the Majestic site, and that's what happened. Thousands of gallons were sold in New Windsor on behalf of Majestic, and the funds went, and the property eventually got cleaned up. But even with all that, it didn't use up all the capacity. So you've got hundreds of thousands of gallons of capacity, which Cornwall's not going to use. I mean, Majestic isn't using it now, and even if it was, there's, I'm telling you, 4 or 5 times as much capacity as they could possibly ever use. And the rest of the capacity, there was a modification to the agreement, under which Cornwall could use some of the capacity for areas in Cornwall outside of Majestic District. But in order to do that, we'd have to form a new district, and somebody would have to build a line to New Windsor. And when you have your own plant here, I mean, you just, nobody's going to do that. So we've got all this capacity that isn't being used, and the idea is that let's have New Windsor, which touches developers who have need of the capacity, give them access to it. And some funds will come to Cornwall, but as Dick alluded to, the money can't be used for anything except the Majestic District, and there's no need to do updates to the Majestic, at least not now, Majestic District. So, look, you get more money and it'll be held for future use, I suppose, if and when this capacity is sold. But other than that, there's no benefit to Cornwall. It's no benefit to Cornwall not to allow it to be reallocated either. So, New Windsor wants it, they have use for it. This just seems like a good municipal planning and land use step to take.
Okay, I'll read the resolution. Whereas the town board has before it consideration of sewer reallocation agreement among the town of New Windsor, town of Cornwall, Majestic Sewer District, and Moona Creek Development Limited, the agreement. And whereas the town attorney working with the town of New Windsor, the attorney for Moona Creek Development, has revised the agreement several times and believe it now reflects the terms which are acceptable to the town. Whereas following this review, the town board now wishes to enter into the attached agreement, and therefore be resolved as follows: that the town board hereby agrees to enter into the agreement annexed hereto and made a part of this resolution, and authorizes supervisor to execute the same. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Okay, next item, setting a public hearing for extension of the Firth Cliff Sewer District to accommodate a one-lot parcel, which is outside the district, to incorporate that into the Firth Cliff Sewer District.
This is the Scott property.
Correct.
And it's an enlargement of Firth Cliff to incorporate one lot. You have to, because that's what statutes require, have a formal order calling this, but I'd suggest, since everybody knows what's going on as far as we're just enlarging the district to include one lot, you waive the reading and then just begin with the now therefore it is resolved, if that's the board's pleasure.
Yes.
Is there a motion to waive the reading of the entire resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes. I'll read now the now therefore. Now therefore be resolved that on the, let's see, July, it's going to be the 8th, correct? The 8th day of July at 7 o'clock.
That would be our work session?
That's
What's
the
the
regular
holiday?
meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, regular meeting would be the 8th.
Okay.
Okay. At 7 o'clock p.m. on said day, the town board will meet and hold a public hearing to consider the extension of the Firth Cliff Sewer District, including the environmental significance thereof, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof, and for such other and further action on the part of the town board in connection with this matter as may be appropriate. And be it further ordered that the town clerk is hereby directed to publish a certified copy of this order at least once in the official newspaper of the town, not less than 10 days nor more than 20 days before the date of the hearing. And be it further ordered, the town clerk is hereby directed to cause a certified copy of this order to be posted on the signboard of the town not less than 10 nor more than 20 days before the date of the hearing. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried.
And as you can see, it's got to be signed by
Yeah,
everybody.
that's
So
what
it's-
we'll sign tonight.
I'm just going to pass that over.
Sure.
Karen.
Okay, next item is setting a public, or excuse me, authorizing a survey update of the Laurel Crest Park. This is the $140,000 grant that we got through Senator Larkin to improve the drainage and the play areas of the park. And we had a survey done back around 2002 when the work was initially being done, but the engineer needs an updated survey to prepare the plans and specifications. Whereas the town of Cornwall proposed to make drainage improvements at the Laurel Crest Park, whereas the town has requested survey and proposals for the Laurel Crest Park and property, whereas Mercurio, Norton, Tiroli, Marshall Engineering, Land Surveying, MNTM, has provided the town with the attached proposal for professional services detailing the work MNTM will provide and the cost to the town. Therefore, be it resolved as follows. 1, that the town board hereby approves the attached MNTN proposal, and 2, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the agreement. And the cost for the engineering update is $2,750. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bond? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Next, a resolution regarding surveying proposals for the Bridge Street Bridge Rehab. Whereas the town of Cornwall wishes to have the Bridge Street Bridge rehabilitated, and whereas the town had requested surveying proposals for survey work on a portion of Idlewild Creek and Bridge Street, whereas MNTM, the same survey company, has provided the town with the attached proposal for professional services detailing the work MNTM will provide and the cost to the town. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, that the town board hereby approves the attached MNTM proposal. 2, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the agreement. And the cost for the survey, it's a stream survey, is $7,000. And normally Steve Drabick, who's done our surveying, has an overload of work and not available, but we need the surveys in order for the engineer to move forward. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bond? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Okay, we're back to 40 Paradise Road demolition. This is a home last fall, I think in a storm, a large tree fell on the home, crushed it, and made it inhabitable and unrepairable. The owner was not in a position to remove it, so the town had our engineers look at it. I think we went out and got proposals and all, but we really haven't been able to remove the building at this point yet, but we have a resolution for the engineer to go back out on bidding to get proposals to remove. The cost of it will then be put back on the property owner on the taxes.
Since this is readoption of the resolution that was considered last year by the same board, everybody's familiar with the Paradise Hill situation.
Yes.
So perhaps you want to waive the reading and just go with the therefore on this too. Otherwise, it's just recitation of underlying facts.
Correct.
But it's, of course, it's your.
It saves me a third of the reading. But I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the full resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bond? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Read the, now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, the town board here does hereby authorize the solicitation of bids for the demolition and removal of the above unsafe structure. 2, that the town board does hereby authorize the town supervisor, McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel to agree upon such date and time when the bids will be publicly opened and read aloud and thereafter presented to the town board at a town board meeting. 3, that all expenses incurred by the town in connection with said demolition and removal shall be assessed against the land on which the building is located, shall be levied and collected in the same manner as provided in Article 15 of Town Law for the levy and collection of a special ad valorem levy. And 4, the town assessor is hereby authorized and directed to take all action necessary for effecting the levy of and collection of the town's said expenses. And 5, that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents in connection with the above. Is there a motion on the resolution?
Second.
Moved second, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bond? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is a resolution authorizing the engineer proposals. This is for the Community Development Block Grant for the sidewalks on the, I guess it would be the north side of Broadway between, I guess, the Bank, Quaker, and Willow Avenue. So we were successful in getting the money through the Community Development Block Grant Program to do the sidewalk work. So whereas the town's consulting engineers, MHE, have inspected the sidewalks on Broadway and determined that they do not currently meet ADA requirements and recommends a sidewalk replacement program, whereas HUD has determined this project is eligible for reimbursement through the Community Development Block Grant Fiscal Year 2019 Grant Program, whereas McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel provide the town with the attached agreement for engineering services in connection with the sidewalk replacement on the northwest side of Broadway from the Chase Bank driveway to the intersection with Willow Avenue. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, the town board hereby approves the attached MHE agreement for engineering services, and 2, town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the agreement. And the engineer's proposal is $4,850. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second? Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is for survey work for the Broadway sidewalks. Whereas the town's consulting engineers, McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel have inspected the sidewalks in Broadway, determined that they do not meet current ADA requirements, whereas the town had requested surveying proposals for that portion of Broadway recommended for sidewalk replacement, and whereas MNTM has provided the town with the attached proposal for professional services detailing the work MNTM will provide and the cost to the town, and therefore be resolved as follows. 1, town board hereby approves the attached MNTM proposal. 2, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the agreement. And this is, let me see what the amount was on that. I'm sorry on that one, that was attached, they attached it to the wrong. That is $48.50. The other one for the engineering proposal, it was attached on the wrong resolution. Lump sum $9,200 for the engineering. That's for basic service and construction phase services, estimated to be $6,300, and that's based on an hourly fee schedule. So we just modify the resolution on the amounts for that. So for this survey, it's the $49.50, I think it was. And I just want to mention before we do vote on it, is, you know, while we are incurring engineering expenses and survey work and all, but in fact, we're really getting capital projects done for the town, which through all the grants that we've gotten, covers the cost of the actual construction and all, which really is really significant. So I think while we don't like to spend money on these kinds of services, but they're essential in order to get the projects done and to the greater benefit of the community. Is there a motion on the resolution?
Second.
Move second, discussion?
Just a quick question.
Yes.
What is the amount of the grant for the sidewalks? Is it 80,000?
The grant, we actually we put in for the 80,000 with the estimate, and we just got an email from the engineer who said that the county, through the Community Development Block Grant, had unexpended funds from the prior years. So they've increased the grant to 96,000.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a plus. Considering we're all contracts, when they go out to bid, you
Yeah,
think
oh,
it's
it's gonna
here,
be higher.
and they come here,
Mhm.
it's nice to have the extra money. Did we do the roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yeah.
Ms. Bunt? Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Okay. We received this later last week. It's a letter and copies of plans that went to the highway superintendent from the village of Carious Joel, Catskill Aqueduct Connection Project, Phase 2 Transmission Main Road Opening Permit for Riley Road. So they have provided the town with the plans and I think the construction manual, the details of it. So I have a resolution referring the submission to the attorney and engineer. Whereas the town has received a road opening permit application from the village of Carious Joel, whereas the application is made by the village of Carious Joel as part of work on a larger public improvement project benefiting the village of Carious Joel, and whereas such applications require approval of an intermunicipal agreement, IMA, in addition to grant of a road opening permit. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, the town board hereby directs that a draft IMA be prepared for consideration by the town board, and 2, the town board hereby refers the application for road opening permit and related plans to the town's engineering consultants and attorneys for review and comment. Steve, anything to add or cover it?
No,
this month?
the matter just came in. We'll be reviewing the application against the updated code provisions regarding road opening permits to make sure that they've complied with what's required under the town code. And of course, we previously circulated an intermunicipal agreement to the village regarding a little bit different version of this project. So there'll have to be some modification to that, but once this board's satisfied with it, we can can send that over to the village town, I guess now, as well.
Just a point of clarification.
Yes.
This road opening permit on Riley Road, that section of water main would have to be done whichever route they took, whether they took through Five
Correct.
Corners or under the thruway.
Correct. The indication from the plans are that they're planning on going through the Five Corners. That's as of the plans that they submitted at this time. But we'll see what happens. But you're correct. The Riley Road, no matter which way they go, they have to go through that town, portion of the town road to the plant. Okay, is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, the motion is carried. Okay, a couple of requests of purchase of highway equipment from the highway superintendent. First is requesting to purchase an S550 skid steer loader from Summit Bobcat, which is through state contract. And they're offering a $3,000 trade-in, and after the trade-in, the price of the skid steer is $28,750.30, which we have already approved the bond anticipation note for the purchase of it. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of the skid steer?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, motion is carried. The second piece of equipment, originally, we were looking at replacing the backhoe that the town has, and the highway superintendent has requested that we consider purchasing a John Deere Model 50G mini excavator. The cost is $65,584.16, which is state contract. It's through Jesco is the name of the company. And what we're finding is, and as the superintendent said, that these excavators are becoming more and more the piece of equipment of choice for doing the road work and excavations and so forth. So originally the backhoe was going to be $91,000 and change. So what he's recommending is that we purchase this excavator, which will really do most of the work for the town, and then put money into the backhoe so that we can maintain that larger piece of equipment for bigger jobs. And it really expands the capability that the department has to work more efficiently with what they're doing. So is there a motion to approve the purchase of the excavator for $65,584.16?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, motion is carried. Buildings and Grounds, I have a request to purchase a chairlift for the main swimming pool. This is really a requirement to meet ADA specifications. He had three quotes, Lincoln Aquatics, $3,591.25, Aquatic Access, $5,272, and Aqua Creek Products, $4,599. Obviously, Lincoln Aquatics is low at $3591.25. Is there a motion to approve the purchase?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, the motion is carried. The only other expense, and we'll do it, is just having to take out a small section of the concrete to be able to put the anchors for the chair in, but Tommy's getting quotes on that so we can move forward for this swim season. Okay, special meeting to begin zoning review. We talked at our work session of possibly meeting on June 19th at 7 o'clock. I confirmed it with our planner, who is available at that time. So, motion to set a work session for the to begin the zoning review for June 19th at 7 o'clock.
So moved.
Moved. Second, Helen?
That's fine.
Discussion?
Yeah,
I just have a question. Are
Yeah.
there going to be documents ahead of time that we can review so we see what work has been done up until now? What
Yeah,
exactly
I
is the
think-
format
What
going to
we
be?
Right.
had in mind was not a local law or even a draft local law, but rather a comment memo from Leslie and myself regarding the items we feel are on the table as a result of the comprehensive plan and ways that you might like to take it. but mostly I think, and I wouldn't, I mean, it's your meeting, you do what you
Yeah,
think
no.
is best, but I kind of was under the impression that the idea was the board would freely discuss their own ideas as to what they'd like to see as far as the zoning update. You know, certainly look over what Leslie and I have in mind, but I mean, and you might say, we don't want to see this, or we want to see something else that, you know, we hadn't worked on yet in terms of potential zoning update. But I don't anticipate having a draft of
No.
the zoning law.
And we don't expect that. Yeah, I mean, really, this is just a first meeting to really lay out the format of how we're going to proceed. I think the thought that we have behind it, that I have behind it, is to get this meeting to really get the process off the ground. Since Leslie and Steve have been, along the way through the comprehensive plan, have been looking at issues of zoning that they feel that the board should consider. But it's also an opportunity for the town board at that meeting to bring up any areas that we feel we would like to pursue during the zoning update. Any thoughts that we have, any areas, anything to pertain to zoning. And this isn't going to be all inclusive. I mean, this is going to be a moving target, if you will. But I think the first meeting we have after the 19th is going to be the critical one to really set the stage on moving forward. But we will have an open process. It'll be a transparent process. We're going to welcome input from the public at every single meeting that we're at. We'll provide as much information as we can. We've done major updates before, but it's crucial today. It really is critical that we cross all the T's and dot all the I's, so that the document that we come up with when we really do the update is something that is going to be good for the town, based on the comprehensive plan and the vision that we have for the community. So it's an important document, in some ways more important than the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan was a springboard, but the nuts and bolts and the enforcement is going to come from the land use and the zoning that we really do. So I ask the board members to just make some notes. It's just going to be open discussion, ideas, bullet points, whatever you want to do, and then we'll work off of that. We'll work off of the consultant's product that they're going to be bringing to us and all, and then at the end of that meeting, we'll set the next meeting, which would be really the first meeting that we really start pulling it together and
So will we have
exploring it.
his comments before the meeting or at the meeting?
Before.
Okay.
We're working on a memo now, as a matter of fact.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll get that out to
Okay.
you Friday, Thursday, somewhere in there.
And at the same time,
Monday at the latest.
I will say, I mean, because some people have been attending a lot of the meetings on the comprehensive plan, some of you have some of your thoughts and all, either call us or, write a short letter or a memo or email or something, if there's some areas that you think that the board should consider and what your thoughts are on and all. I mean, this is a totally wide open process, and it's a golden opportunity that we really don't want to pass up. So, okay. Next, we have a letter on, from the Secretary of State. Well, it's from your office. It's the local law 1
Extending the moratorium.
has been filed in Albany. So we just note that for the record. Under personnel, I have approval of the summer camp staff. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, the motion is carried. Under seasonal employees, we have one 40-hour position for the summer for buildings and grounds. We have two seasonal positions, 40 hours a week for the highway department. I have Matt Kraft for buildings and grounds, Tyler Treste, Treste, and Christopher D'Ambroso for the highway department, with an hourly rate of $16 per hour. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, motion is carried. Committee reports, Councilwoman Bunt?
So for the sewer, Camel has given its report. I'll just give you the flow, because they do their usual maintenance and cleaning and all the necessary things to keep a sewer flowing. So the Cornwall plant Make sure I got it. The Cornwall plant
Yeah.
is, 0.12 MGDs, the permit limit is 1.2. So it's right on. And the Firth Cliff is 1.02, and the limit is 1.5. So we're good there. So everything is good. Camel's taking good care of us. The seniors are very busy. We're going on the 21st of June, we're going to, help me, Renata.
Cornwall's Landing.
Yes. So they're having a box lunch there. They're looking forward to it. It's the golden age mostly, but then extended it out to other seniors. But the golden age come first in the enrollment. So they're doing that. The garden club is coming there, doing plantings with them. So they're doing their usual line dancing, the hotsy-totsies. They really do keep busy, and I guess that last trip they had to Maine was very, very successful. They booked that one right out, so I saw them coming back.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's it. The senior committee did meet, but we've decided not to do any further, more than what's being already done. We'll wait until our September annual picnic.
Okay. Councilman Summerfield?
Carla's here to give the overview on the CCAC meeting. I was stuck on a train and wasn't able to attend. There's nothing for wires and cable, other than I am looking into the possibility of burying the wires at the same time as the gas lines are replaced on Main Street. It hasn't gone very far. I really don't have anything to report on. The Chamber of Commerce is holding their first annual Hudson Valley Multi-Chamber Mixer tomorrow at the Storm King Arts Center. It's rain or shine, but the forecast is for sun to come out later in the afternoon. It's $25 per person. It includes a tour of the facilities, but it's mostly a networking opportunity for business people in a multi-county area. I believe there's every chamber in all of the surrounding counties will be attending, so it'll be a large event, and if you do attend, arrive early. That's it.
Okay. Councilman McGinnis?
For the month of May, the building department issued 21 permits, did 19 CC issues, 8 COs, 85 on-site inspections, 6 complaints investigated, 1 stop work order, 1 notice of violation, 16 fire inspections, 1 court appearance, 16 signs removed, $200 in renewal fees, $6,995.50 in permit fees, and $3,000 for municipal searches. There have been no new projects open for either the planning board or the zoning board. The highway and sanitation for the month of May, highway department assisted sanitation as needed, street sweeping town-wide, completion of the ADA parking lot landscape, pothole repair town-wide, roadside mowing town-wide, cut out section of road on Alder and repair with asphalt prior to overlay performed by Montesano in Beaver Dam Lake area, and basin repair prior to overlay in Beaver Dam, and cut out section of road on Curtis Court to properly pitch water drainage systems in place and repaired with asphalt. That's all I have.
Okay. Police report from your chief. Calls for service 778. Miles driven 7,987. Total miles for 2019 as of May 31st, 41,384. Traffic and appearance tickets issued 97. Parking tickets issued 3. Motor vehicle accidents 40. Arrest made 16. 911 hang-up, misdial open line 2. Alarm residential business 23. Ambulance request 25. Animal complaints 17. 1 burglary. Criminal mischief 1. Disabled vehicles 1. Domestic incidents 7. Parking complaints 4. Suspicious vehicle persons 19. House checks 12. Assisted other agencies 26. And I know the EDAC has a couple events that they're working on for the summer. Hopefully we'll have more information later in the month or by our July meeting. We have warrant number 6. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Move second discussion. Roll call.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment? Anyone wishing to speak on any issue or item? Yes, Win.
I'll start with the last thing. The Chambers multi-chamber mixer will be tomorrow 5 to 8, as you announced. Tickets are not available at the door. If you haven't bought your tickets, don't show up. We have over 250 tickets sold, and we're expecting a good crowd. I just have a question on the equipment that we're purchasing. Has the town considered the possibility of either sharing equipment from local surrounding communities or with the village? And is that a possibility, or is that just not practical?
Well, some of the equipment is really basic equipment that you use on a regular basis, Win.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, if we needed a piece or somebody breaks down or something, but this isn't the kind of equipment that you can just borrow pretty much when you, because other municipalities are doing the same kind of work at the same time.
Okay.
But they do.
Oh, we share. I mean, we share.
with other-
I mean, trucks, if there's road work being done, we all share and haul the material for each other and all.
Okay.
Garbage trucks, if you get a breakdown, you got to borrow one.
I'm just looking for
Yep, no, I appreciate that.
ways to economize. With regard to the zoning review, for 2 years I sat on your side of the table, so I had access to the documents, while people like Doug and Lynn and Nancy and Joe sat in the audience listening to us talk about Oxford commas. And I'm hoping that we have some reference material when you get started, whether it's posted to the website, it's up to us to download it. But I can only imagine how frustrating it must be sitting in the audience, listening to us talk about grammar. So
All right,
bear that in mind, please.
thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Carla.
So first I have an update from the Conservation Advisory Council this past Wednesday's meeting. We touched on the status of the scenic resources inventory, which is 95% done, and we'll be able to share that very soon. The natural resources inventory, which is also 95% done, and the natural heritage project. We had a new potential prospective member, John. I don't remember his last name, unfortunately. He was there and gave some really great input on a map that he has never seen before for the Natural Heritage Project in terms of potential areas of prioritization. So it was really great to get his input. Everybody is excited to participate in the Cornwall Fall Festival. Yes, I'm thinking all the way to September because last year's was so successful, and we touched so many people on that day. And I'd also like to announce that I was recently appointed to the Orange County Climate Smart Communities Task Force as a result of all the work that the town has supported of the CAC. I'm on that task force to help advise Orange County on their climate smart communities actions that they will undertake in order to become a recertified community. I'm representing the town, the CAC, and my place of business, the Hudson Valley Regional Council. So I want to thank you all for all the support that you've given to the CAC and the work that we do on behalf of the town, because if it weren't for that support, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish as much as we have accomplished and wouldn't be getting this kind of important recognition. Another way in which we've recently been recognized at the state level is that I went to the Hudson River Estuary Management Advisory Council meeting, which is an advisory council of the Hudson River Estuary Program, and we were very prominently displayed with Blooming Grove in a rolling slide of images from our natural resources inventory work, all the public meetings, natural heritage project work, and we were one of, I think, 5 communities that were up there consistently during the slideshow. So a lot of really great work, and thank you. And then, I don't know if anybody else has public comment, I'll let somebody else go, but I do have something else that's
Go ahead.
public comment.
Go ahead. You have something else?
Yep, okay. So with regards to the zoning review, really excellent that, you know, to hear you speaking about a very transparent process that allows the public to really participate in a more definitive way. And I echo what Wynn just said about, you know, being on the other side and, you know, lamenting the fact that we may not be able to get to see materials to really be able to give the kind of input that we were able to as people who were on the committee. So I'm not sure if it's too late to think about this, and I'm hoping that it may not be, but I did some research on municipalities that have pursued zoning code updates that have included a committee structure that goes beyond the town board. So I see Steve smiling. And I have a list of 10. This is just something that I did in half an hour. So I have a list of 10 communities here that I'm going to share with you, as well as a printout from 2 communities and what their websites look like in terms of their zoning updates. The town of Ulysses and Trumansburg. All of these communities are from New York State, and they typically include, you know, they were very much like the composition of the Comprehensive Plan Committee. And I understand that the moratorium, the second moratorium, is a concern, but I was also reading the land use moratoria guide that was prepared by the Division of Local Government Services, the James Kuhn series, and it stated in there, of course, it talks about case precedents, number of different cases, which I'm sure Steve knows inside and out. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was that if a reasonable, justifiable reason is given for extending the moratoria, as long as it doesn't go too long after a year, they're usually not an issue. So I'm happy to share that hyperlink with you, but I'm going to pass this out. Just to plant that seed to consider maybe appointing a couple of people to this process to increase the public participation aspect of it. You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Hearing no one, motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you all for coming.